Life is so busy. How can we separate work and home life?
So let's talk about zones. So life is made up of real zones, and we can generally recognize those. Most of us can say we've got work, we've got family, we've got friends, we've got interests, and we can see them. So before I go on, I want to say that, I know I've said this, each human being is very complicated and unique. So this illustration is simplistic and not complete. It's a bit of a generalization. The zones I want to talk about are the physiological and psychological zones. So there's a crossover between the physical and the mental. So the red zone is essentially, the red zone is the push and shove zone. If we are to satiate our enhancement drives, we step into the red zone. So we work hard and then we satisfy our dopamine reward receptors and we allow that flush of achievement. We move forward. The red zone drives us on. It stirs up our cortisol and adrenaline. It activates us, gives us our heart rate probably goes up, gives us that extra edge. The payoff, and there's a payoff in the red zone, is that we may feel exposed by our limitations. And in the red zone, we might get very stressed, irritable, and even anxious. We might even like to dislike the environment. This energy in the red zone can be positive and negative. The blend needs to be correct. So being in the red zone can be exhausting, and this exhaustion can bring about confusion, a cognitive slowdown, a feeling of incongruence or negative self-regard. An extreme cases is negative self-doubt, which can slip into negative self-disgust even. So then we move on to the green zone. Now, the green zone is where we might feel contented, relaxed, calm, chilled, where we might be able to rejuvenate our energies in whatever way we do that. In the green zone, you'll probably feel safer. There's a set or experience of kindness in the green zone. So a good restful sleep and someone's loving support probably exists in the green zone. So the blue zone is where you allow yourself to access all of your positive, motivational, enthusiastic sort of qualities and resources. Your innate talents that you know you have are allowed to improve. They're allowed to be enhanced. Again, as in the red zone, you're activated, but this is a more want-to type motivation rather than a have-to type motivation. So it's probably more creative, more spontaneous, and gives us a richer sense of reward rather than just doing it and achieving it. We're doing it and really fascinated by said subject. If you really want to optimize your doing self, mixing the blue and the red, so you go into a sort of a purple zone, is the way to do it whilst being aware of the regenerative elements of the green zone just over there. So the green zone, and nipping into the green zone and resting from time to time. There are possibly ancillary zones. So just off the green zone is the yellow zone, where we do absolutely nothing in the moment, like staring at a fantastic view or a sunset with absolutely no thoughts interrupting us. When we laugh, we're not thinking about anything, so we're probably in the yellow zone as we laugh. So to optimize your sort of holistic human being self, a mixture of blue, red, green, and yellow zones is probably the best mix. You have to get the mix right. If you get this positive zone mix correct, you'll probably be within the reach of what Maslow calls self-actualization and what Carl Rogers would call a fully functioning person. And these are concepts, and they're transient concepts, where you get repeated momentary periods of firing on all cylinders, if you like. I mean, if you have a burnout, you can enter the grey zone. And if the grey zone is around long enough, you can enter a black zone, which represents psychological collapse. But if you get the balance between the red zone, the blue zone, the green zone, and the yellow zone correct, you can, I know this sounds trite, have it all. And you can definitely avoid being in the grey and the black zones.